Imagine sitting in a club, drink in hand, beautiful men and women around you, all dancing to that wonderful music of jazz. However, this is illegal due to the 18th Amendment, which put a ban on consuming and selling alcohol. Born to an immigrant family in Brooklyn, New York, Capone dropped out of school in 6th grade. While out of school, he became associated with street gangs led by Johnny Torrio. In 1920, Al and Johnny went to Chicago. Once in Chicago, Capone became an influential lieutenant in the Kalamazoo mob. With the newly passed Prohibition Amendment, illegal brewing and distribution began to expand as an industry. Al and Johnny, fully aware of this concept, took advantage of it. Al and Johnny quickly became the leaders of the gang, and in 1925, when Johnny was injured, Al took over. With the speakeasies booming, Capone quickly gained rivals, specifically tensions with the Bugs, Morgan mob. On February 14, 1929, several of the members of the Bugs gang were gunned down by rivals posing as police. After this massacre, the FBI got involved and arrested Capone. Once arrested, Al Capone was sent to Alcatraz Island, where he would spend the rest of his days. Al Capone once said, "You can get much further with a kind word and a gun than you can with a kind word alone." This quote perfectly represents everything 1920. With the gangster era roaring and speakeasies booming, it's no wonder crime was at a high. With the pressure of doing better than the generation before, people like Al Capone and Bonnie and Clyde quickly took to doing illegal activities to try to do better and get richer. Though we perceive Al Capone as being a terrible person, that is just simply not the case. Al Capone started the first soup kitchens, and he was known as being a very generous man. Not only was Al Capone a generous man, but an influential one as well. He was responsible for putting expiration dates on milk cartons after his wife got sick, and President FDR often rode in Al Capone's armored Cadillac. In this interview, a minister from a nearby church tells a story about Al Capone wanting to help the poor.
Then after a while, Al Capone wanted to give me, as a minister, some food, basket of food we could pour so help the poor. I said, okay. And I went in a house, a room, and let me tell you, I saw that gang of gangsters. Their faces looked so gaunt. Right there, they could have taken me and dumped me somewhere else. Because otherwise, we would never have survived.
Although Al Capone did help the poor and the people in need, he also was a bootlegger. But even people like Mark Twain believed that prohibition only drives drunkenness behind doors and into dark places, and does not cure it or even diminish it. So, many people believed that prohibition should be outlawed. However, the Roaring Twenties would not have been as roaring without the Prohibition era and the gangsters that ruled the speakeasies. The economy of the 1920s was widely a consumer one, and Al Capone was taking in about $105 million a year in the 1920s, which is about $1.4 billion today. This boom in the economy can be attributed to the economic transfer from war to peacetime production, including the increase in the usage of assembly lines. Another big reason is the 3 conservative presidents that were elected consecutively. These presidents promoted private businesses. One of these businesses were that of the secret clubs, posing as drugstores or candy shops. Besides the government unknowingly supporting the speakeasies, officers of the law would often go to them to relax. Speakeasies were very low-key and a big part of the social life in the 1920s. Instead of going to parties, often people would go to the speakeasies to get alcohol. Politically, bosses like Al Capone had a wide say in what politicians were going to be chosen. In this way, gangsters ruled the 1920s and made the economy boom, making the Roaring Twenties truly roaring.